My name is Aria Vale, and the greenhouse is my cathedral of quiet. I kneel among the ghost orchids, fingertips brushing petals that feel like whispered apologies. 4 years ago, the lab exploded in a white roar I never heard. I only remember the floor tilting, Mara's hands slipping from mine, and the world going mute. Now I speak to the plants in touches and breaths. Hold on, little one, not yet. My phone vibrates against my thigh. 3 deliberate pulses. The Pen Pal app. I open it. The message reads, "If the oldest redwood kept a diary, what would today's entry say?" I smile, thumbs moving. I type, "Dear Diary, another quiet day. The tourists left heart-shaped scars. I miss the wind's gossip." The reply comes instantly. "Then let's give it something to overhear. Moss Hollow Trailhead, Saturday noon. I'll bring coffee strong enough to wake the dead. No names, no pressure. Just 2 strangers and a forest that keeps secrets." My pulse stutters. I type, delete, type again. I write, "I'll be the woman with dirt under her nails and fear in her throat. Fair warning." Saturday arrives wrapped in fog that smells of salt and sap. I reach the trailhead early, clutching a potted maidenhair fern like a passport. My hearing aids are in my pocket, useless in the damp, but I keep them the way sailors keep lucky coins. Footsteps crunch behind me. I turn. He is taller than his words suggested, flannel rolled to the elbows, forearms mapped with sawdust scars. His eyes are the color of storm-lit cedar. He lifts a thermos and a crooked smile. He says my name slowly, carefully. "Aria?" I nod. He pours coffee into a tin mug, steam curling between us like incense. I take it with both hands, letting the heat brand my palms. He pulls a notepad from his pocket, writes in a hurried scrawl, "You look like someone who listens with her skin." I laugh, soundless, shoulders shaking, and right beneath, "Only sense I've got left." His eyes widen, not pity, recognition. He tears the page, folds it into a paper crane, tucks it behind the fern's frond. Then he writes again, "Walk with me? The trees promised not to gossip." I hesitate. Every step deeper into the forest is a step away from the safety of typed words. But the crane trembles like a bear, and something inside me, curiosity, hunger, terror, unfurls. I slip my hand through the crook of his elbow. His muscle flexes under flannel, a tremor that says he's afraid too. We move onto the trail, fog swallowing our footprints. Sunlight spears through the canopy, striping us in gold. From his pocket flutters a child's drawing, a redwood wearing headphones, roots tangled with musical notes. I don't yet know it's from his niece Elara, or that the headphones are her way of imagining my silence. I only know that when I glance up, Theo is watching me with the wonder usually reserved for rare orchids, and I am terrified he will see the cracks where the explosion shattered me.
The fog clings to the redwoods like breath on glass. Theo's arm is warm under my fingers, a steady anchor as we step deeper into the hush. The trail is soft with needles. Each footfall sinks and vanishes. He stops at a fallen giant, bark peeled back in scrolls, and kneels. With a stick, he writes in the damp sawdust. This one fell the year the town burned, still growing moss on the underside. I crouch beside him, tracing the green velvet with a fingertip. The vibration of distant ravens thrums through the log into my knees. Secret Morse code. I write beneath his words. Death, feeding life. Rude, but honest. Theo laughs, mouth open, shoulders shaking. The sound is lost on me, but the shape of it lands warm against my cheek. He tears a strip of birch bark, folds it into a tiny boat, and sets it sailing on a puddle. Inside, charcoal letters. Your turn. Tell me a secret the forest doesn't already know. My pulse stutters. Secrets are heavier than soil. I hesitate, then write, I dream in vibrations. Last night the explosion replayed as thunder under my ribs. I woke tasting metal. His face stills. Not pity, something rawer. He writes slowly, I dream in echoes. My sisters laugh in the passenger seat, then tires screaming on wet pine needles. I wake reaching for a hand that isn't there. The puddle reflects two faces bent close, birch boat rocking between them. A gust snatches the paper vessel. It spins, sinks. I watch it drown and feel the same lurch in my gut. Theo stands, offers his hand. I take it. His palm is calloused, warm, steady. We walk deeper, boots sinking into needles that smell of resin and rain. Sunlight spears through the canopy, striping us in gold. Ahead, a clearing. Wild ginger carpets the ground, heart-shaped leaves trembling. Theo releases my hand, kneels, plucks a single leaf. He presses it flat against his notepad, traces the veins with a pencil until the shape emerges. Delicate, perfect. Beneath it, he writes, some things are louder when you can't hear them. I stare at the leaf print, throat tight. The forest holds its breath. Then, movement. A flash of yellow crayon at the trail's edge. A child's drawing pinned to a sapling by a twig spear. A stick figure girl with huge ears made of fern fronds, holding hands with a taller figure whose heart is a glowing redwood knot. Scrawled beneath in purple, for the lady who listens with her eyes. I look up. Theo is watching me, eyes soft with something that might be hope or apology. The drawing flutters like a trapped bird. I reach out, fingers brushing the paper, and for the first time, the silence feels crowded, with possibility, with risk, with the terrifying chance that someone
like
might
a
want to
hive.
stay.
Cedar smoke curling over kettle corn, voices layering thick as moss. I weave between stalls, fingertips grazing hand-thrown mugs, my vibrating watch pulsing every 30 seconds to keep me tethered. Theo waits by the honey vendor, 2 paper cups steaming in his hands. When I reach him, he lifts 1 cup to his lips first, testing temperature, then offers it. I take it, sign, thank you, and he answers with the quick, practiced, you're welcome that makes my stomach flip. We drift to a table stacked with potted succulents. A gust knocks a tray, tiny pots avalanche. I lunge, catch 3 with 1 arm, but the 4th shatters. Soil spills like dark blood. The vendor starts to apologize. I shake my head, already kneeling, scooping dirt with bare hands. Theo crouches opposite, forming a bowl with his flannel shirt to catch the mess. Our eyes lock over the wreckage. He signs, slow and deliberate. Let me be your hands today. I hesitate, then nod. Together, we repot the survivor, his thick fingers gentle around fragile roots. The vendor watches, mouth open. When we stand, the plant sits proud in its new home. The vendor presses it into my arms, gift, signs for the quiet gardener. I blush crimson. Behind us, Elara appears, balancing a wooden crate of carved animals. She sets it down, pulls out a tiny fox with 1 ear missing, and offers it to me. I turn it over. On the base, burned letters. For the lady who hears with her heart. Elara signs, Uncle helped me carve it. He said you'd know what the fox says. I trace the missing ear, then sign. The fox says, sometimes broken things listen better. Elara grins, grabs a marker from the crate, and on the crate lid draws a quick comic, stick figure woman with huge eyes, fox perched on her shoulder, speech bubble empty but glowing. She caps the marker, signs, your turn to fill the bubble. I take the marker, add inside the bubble, thank you for seeing me. Theo watches, throat working. When Elara tugs us toward the music stage, fiddle and banjo spilling into the air, I stiffen. Live sound is a wall of static to me. Theo senses it,
steers us instead to a quiet bench beneath the madrone. Elara produces headphones from her pocket, bright yellow, child-sized, offers them to me with a shy smile. I shake my head, sign, I feel music in my bones, not my ears. Elara's eyes widen. She presses the headphones to my sternum instead, right over my heart. The fiddle's rhythm thrums through plastic into skin. I close my eyes, tears slip free. Theo reaches, thumb brushing one away, signs, "May I?" I nod. He cups my face, gentle, and the world narrows to the vibration against my ribs and the warmth of his palms. When the song ends, Elara is staring, awestruck. She signs, "You danced without moving." Later, walking back through the stalls, my phone buzzes. A text from an old colleague. "Grant funding approved for your death-accessible greenhouse project. Need you in the city next week." My step falters. City means crowds, sirens, mouths moving too fast. It means leaving the Redwoods, leaving this fragile new thing blooming between us. Theo notices, signs, "What is it?" I show him the screen. His face shudders. Not fear, calculation. He types on his own phone, turns it to me. "I have a truck and a niece who packs light. We'll make the city bend." Elara, reading over his shoulder, bounces on her toes, signs, "Road trip! I'll bring the fox." I look from the glowing screen to our joined hands, mine stained with soil, his dusted with sawdust, Elara sticky with honey. The market noise swells around us, but inside our small circle, the silence is no longer lonely. It is a language we are only beginning to speak.
Rain slashing sideways through the greenhouse panes. I stand among the orchids, water dripping from my hair, watching the sky bruise violet. My phone buzzes against the workbench, 3 sharp pulses. Outside, let me in before I drown. I open the door. Theo stumbles through, soaked flannel clinging to his shoulders, Elara a step behind, clutching a plastic bag of crayons like contraband. Water streams from all 3 of us, pooling on the concrete floor. Theo signs, teeth chattering. Power's out at the house. Elara insisted the plants needed company. Elara nods solemnly. Signs. They get scared of thunder too. Lightning forks. The glass walls flash white. My heart lurches. No sound, but the air pressure drops like a fist. I gestured them toward the potting bench. Clear space among seed trays. Elara immediately climbs onto a stool, spreads her crayons, and begins drawing the storm. Black spirals, purple knives, a tiny greenhouse glowing gold in the center. Theo peels off his shirt, wrings it into a bucket. Water drums on the metal roof, a vibration I feel in my molars. He catches me staring, signs, "Sorry." Modesty later, warmth now. I hand him an old canvas apron, once white, now earth-stained. He ties it around his waist, the knot clumsy. Our eyes lock. Something electric passes between us, hotter than the lightning outside. Elara tugs my sleeve, points to her drawing. In the corner, a stick figure family, huddled under the glowing greenhouse. 2 adults, 1 child, arms linked. Above them, the storm has a face, angry, but its mouth is sewn shut with red thread. Elara signs, "Thunder can't talk if we don't listen." My chest aches. I kneel, add to the drawing. A speech bubble from the greenhouse, empty but vibrating with tiny lines. Elara grins, adds sound waves shaped like hearts. Theo watches them, apron sagging, rain dripping from his lashes. He pulls a small tin from his pocket. Tea, loose leaf, smells of bergamot. Fills a kettle on the propane burner, strikes a match. The flame blooms blue. While the water heats, he writes on a seed packet, "Tell me the worst part." I hesitate, then right beneath, "Mornings."
The world starts without me. No birds, no radio, no one calling my name. I wake into absence. He reads, face unreadable. Writes, I wake reaching for a heartbeat that isn't there. Elara crawls into my bed, whispers, is today the day mommy comes back? I lie. Every morning. The kettle whistles. I feel it in my sternum. He pours, hands me a mug. Steam curls between us like incense. Elara has fallen asleep on the workbench, cheek pillowed on her drawing, crayon still clutched in her fist. Theo moves closer, signs slow. May I? I nod. He cups my face, thumbs tracing the paths of old tears I didn't know were falling. His hands smell of sawdust and rain. I lean in, forehead to his, and for the first time the silence is not a void, but a bridge. His heartbeat thuds against my palms, steady, alive, terrified. Lightning again. The greenhouse lights up, every leaf, every droplet, every tremor in his shoulders. In that flash, I see it, the moment he decides to stay. When darkness returns, his arms are around me, apron rough against my cheek. I feel his lips move against my temple, no sound, but the shape is clear. I've got you. Outside, the storm rages. Inside, the three of us breathe the same warm air, the tea cooling untouched. Elara's drawing glowing under the propane lantern like a promise neither of us dares voice yet.
Pine resin and linseed oil, the air thick with the ghosts of failed trees. I step inside for the first time, my boots echoing on the sawdust floor, vibrations climbing my legs like vines. Elara waits in the center, small hands twisting in her shirt, eyes darting from me to the tools lining the walls. Theo hangs back by the door, giving us space, but his presence is a steady hum against my skin. Elara signs, hesitant, welcome to our messy castle. Uncle says you make plants grow like magic. I kneel to her level, sign back. Not magic, just patience and dirt. What do you make here? Her face lights up, she grabs my hand, tugs me to a workbench cluttered with half-carved figures. Owls, deer, a lopsided bear. She picks up a chisel, demonstrates on a scrap of cedar, shavings curling like petals. I watch her lips move as she explains, but the words are lost. Instead, I read the joy in her shoulders, the concentration in her furrowed brow. Theo approaches, installs a small mirror in the bench so I can see his face while he works. He signs, for when we talk, no more turning around. My throat tightens. Such a simple thing, but it feels like he's rewriting the world for me. Elara notices, sets down the chisel, and pulls out a roll of paper. She unrolls it across the bench, a hand-drawn map of the forest. Paths marked in green, secret spots in red stars. She points to one, signs, this is where the feeling trees are. They shake when you touch them. I trace the map with a finger, add a tiny greenhouse icon at the edge. Elara claps, delighted, then signs, we can make real maps for your plants, so they don't get lost. Theo chuckles, I feel it in the air between us, then leads us outside to his truck. We drive to a sun-dappled clearing, unpack a picnic basket. Elara spreads a blanket, arranges sandwiches and fruit. When the wind scatters napkins, I chase them on hands and knees. Elara joins, giggling silently. Theo gathers them with one sweep, but lets us pretend we're hunting treasure. Mid-bite, Elara signs, why don't you hear? Is it like being underwater? I pause, sandwich halfway to my mouth. Theo starts to intervene, but I shake my head. I sign, an accident, like a door slamming shut forever. But I hear with my eyes and hands now. Wanna try? Elara nods eagerly. I blindfold her with a napkin, gently, then tap rhythms on her arm. Dot, dash, dot, like Morse code for friend. She guesses wrong twice, laughs, then gets it. When I remove the blindfold, her eyes shine. She signs, that's cool. Like secret spy talk.
Theo watches us, his sandwich forgotten. Later, as Elara runs ahead collecting pine cones, he turns to me, signs, "You're good with her, better than I am some days." I sign back, "You're her whole world. I see it in how she looks at you." He looks away toward the trees where his sister's accident happened, the one that left Elara in his care. His hands tremble as he signs, "I still see the skid marks in my sleep. Feel like I'm failing her every time she asks about heaven." I place my hand over his, feel the pulse there. Ragged, honest. I sign, "You're not failing. You're growing roots together." That evening, back at the shop, Elara insists on the ritual. We plant a sapling in the yard, one from my greenhouse, resilient and thorned. Theo digs the hole, I lower the roots, Elara pats the soil. As the sun dips, painting us in amber, Elara signs, "Now it's our tree, for remembering and forgetting." Theo meets my eyes over her head, and in that look is a question, a promise, a fear we're both carrying like fragile seeds. My heart answers before my hands can. Yes.
The months slip by like sap rising in spring. Elara's crayon maps now cover an entire wall of Theo's workshop, each new trail inked with our footprints. My greenhouse hums with new life, vibrating sensors that pulse light patterns when the soil needs water, visual alarms that bloom red when the temperature drops. Theo built them from scavenged parts in stubborn love. One evening, Elara bursts through the greenhouse door, clutching a folded paper like contraband. She thrusts it at me, eyes shining. I unfold it, a child-drawn list titled, "Reasons Aria Should Live With Us." Aria makes Daddy smile, the real smile, not the pretend one. Aria tells stories with her hands, and I understand every word. When Aria is here, Daddy doesn't check the locks 3 times. I like helping Aria water plants, and she never says, "Be careful," like I'm breakable. I love Aria and want her to be my grown-up too. My eyes blur. Theo stands in the doorway, sawdust in his hair, watching me read. He signs, "It's official. I voted." I look at Theo. His hands are still, waiting. I sign, "What if I'm too much work? Mornings with my aide, city trips for research, the nights I wake tasting metal from old dreams?" He steps closer, signs slow and fierce, "You are not work. You are home. We'll install visual doorbells, lower shelves, learn every routine. I want your toothbrush next to mine. I want Elara's maps on our fridge. I want to wake up and see you first." Elara tugs my sleeve, signs, "Say yes. I already packed your fern." That night we argue, our first real one. I'm folding laundry in the kitchen when Theo reaches for a shirt still damp. I sign sharp, "I can do it myself." He signs back, frustrated, "I know, but let me share the load." The words hang between us like storm clouds. Elara peeks from the hallway, eyes wide. I soften, sign, "I'm scared of needing too much." Theo pulls me close, signs against my back, "I'm scared of not being enough. We'll scare each other awake and keep choosing anyway." The next morning, my aide arrives to find Theo already helping me dress, his hands patient with buttons I still fumble. She smiles, signs, "Looks like my job just got easier." Elara presents me with a key on a redwood bark tag, carved with tiny ferns. We cook together that night, Theo chopping while I direct from the counter, Elara setting the table with adaptive plates I designed, high rims, section bases. When the lasagna emerges golden and bubbling, Elara signs, "We made this, all of us." Later, in the quiet of the bedroom we now share, Theo traces the scar along my jaw from the explosion. He signs in the dark, "Tell me if it ever gets heavy." I sign back,
Only when I forget I'm not carrying it alone. Outside, the redwoods stand sentinel. Inside, our home breathes with new rhythms, vibrating alarms, lowered hooks, Elara's laughter echoing off walls that finally feel
starts at dusk,
like mine.
a red glow licking the ridge like a warning tongue. I'm in the greenhouse checking seedlings when my phone flashes emergency red. Evacuate now! Wildfire! The air already tastes of smoke. Theo bursts through the door, Elara on his hip, go bag slung over his shoulder. He signs fast. Truck's packed, we have minutes. I grab my research drive, the potted ghost orchid, and we run. The forest road is a river of headlights. Elara clings to me in the back seat, her small body vibrating with fear I feel through the seatbelt. Theo's knuckles are white on the wheel. Halfway down, a fallen branch blocks the path. Flames crown the trees ahead. Theo swears. I read it on his lips, throws the truck into reverse. But I see it first. A narrow deer trail snaking left, barely visible in the smoke. I sign urgently. There! I know it from the maps. He trusts me. We veer onto the trail, tires spitting gravel. Branches whip the windows. Elara buries her face in my neck. My eyes burn, but I guide Theo with hand signals. Left, straight, slow. The fire roars behind us, a wall of heat I feel on my skin. We burst into a clearing by the creek, safe for now. Theo kills the engine. The silence is deafening. No sirens, no crackle, just our ragged breathing. Elara scrambles out, points to the sky, embers drifting like malevolent fireflies. Theo pulls a tarp from the truck bed, starts rigging a shelter. I help, hands shaking. Night falls hard. We huddle under the tarp, the creek's vibration a steady pulse against my spine. Elara falls asleep between us, thumb in mouth. Theo signs in the dark. I thought I'd lose you both tonight. I sign back. You didn't. We're still here. He reaches into his pocket, pulls out a small wooden box, the one from the storm. Opens it. Inside, a pendant carved from redwood burl, inlaid with a tiny vibrating core. He fastens it around my neck. It pulses once, warm against my collarbone. He signs, so you will always feel me, even when the world's too loud. I press my forehead to his. The fire glows on the horizon, but here, under the tarp, our small circle holds. Elara stirs in her sleep, signs safe. Dawn bricks gray with ash, the fire's contained, a miracle of wind shift. We drive back through blackened corridors, trees standing like charred sentinels. My greenhouse is gone, just twisted metal and glass, but the ghost orchid survived in the truck. Theo parks amid the ruins. Elara runs to the sapling we planted months ago, miraculously untouched, green against the scorched earth. Theo signs, voice hoarse but eyes fierce. We rebuild, together. I look at the pendant pulsing against my skin, at Elara watering the sapling with the juice box, and Theo's soot-streaked face. The forest smells of endings and beginnings. I sign, yes, but bigger, deaf accessible, for everyone who's ever felt shut out. Elara tugs us both to the sapling, signs, our tree held, so will we. Theo pulls me close. The pendant vibrates, steady, alive, a heartbeat against mine. In the ashes, something we fled
new
the
takes
fire.
root.
We return to Moss Hollow Trailhead at dawn. The forest is healed in patches. Blackened trunks now wear skirts of moss, saplings pushing through ash like green punctuation marks. I carry the ghost orchid, repotted and thriving. Theo shoulders a backpack. Elara skips ahead, her curls threaded with tiny fern fronds she and sister crowns for the trees. We reach the clearing where the nurse log once lay. In its place stands our new greenhouse, glass and reclaimed redwood.
solar panels glinting like dragonfly wings. Visual sensors pulse soft blue when we approach. The door slides open with a silent swoosh. Inside, rows of adaptive planters glow under LED grow lights, vibrating alerts woven into every station. A sign above the entrance reads, "Vale Carver Silent Sanctuary," where every sense is heard. Elara runs to her corner workbench, now fitted with a mirror system so she can see my signs while carving. She unveils her latest project, a redwood plaque etched with 3 intertwined roots spelling family. Theo hangs it beside the door. His eyes meet mine, steady, sure. He pulls a small box from his pocket, opens it. Inside, a ring carved from the same burl as my pendant, inlaid with a single seed pearl. He kneels, signs with trembling hands. "Aria Vale, will you marry me? Not to fix anything, not to spite anything, just because every day with you feels like the forest breathing." Tears blur my vision, but I nod before my hands catch up. I sign, "Yes, 1,000 times yes." Elara squeals. I feel the vibration in the floorboards, launches herself at us. We catch her mid-air, a tangle of limbs and laughter. Theo slips the ring onto my finger. It fits like it was grown there. Later, under the redwoods where it all began, we plant the ghost orchid at the base of our sapling, now taller than Elara. She waters it with a tiny watering can shaped like a fox. Theo signs against my palm. "Still deserve happiness?" I sign back, pressing his hand to the pendant that still pulses between us. We built it. Together. The forest listens. Sunlight filters through new leaves, striping us in gold. Elara leans against my side, Theo's arm around my shoulders. My book, Resilient Roots, a deaf botanist's field notes, sits on the bestseller shelf back home. But this circle of held hands, this quiet that sings, is the real story. I close my eyes. The pendant vibrates once, steady, alive, a heartbeat against mine. In the hush, I hear everything.